Alright, so you're wondering how much it costs to live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida? Well, this video is going to be all about the cost of living right here in sunny South Florida, so stick around. What's up everyone, it's Tanner, your South Florida realtor, and if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything about working, eating, sleeping, playing, and living in Fort Lauderdale, then start by subscribing and also tap that little bell so you get notified every time I do a new video. If you're even thinking about moving or relocating to South Florida, give me a call, shoot me a text, email me, however you want to get a hold of me. I got your back when moving to Fort Lauderdale. Alright, so let's hop right into it. We're going to be talking about housing, food, utilities, all of that stuff. But first I want to set a starting point, which we'll set at 100, which will be the national average. So anything above 100 is going to be more expensive than the national average, and anything below 100 will be cheaper than the national average. Now, I think a good place to start is just overall cost of living in Fort Lauderdale. So everything included, Fort Lauderdale sits at 117.9, which is a little bit higher than that average of 100. But I think there's one thing that's driving that number up a little bit, because for the most part, everything is right on par with that 100 mark, except for housing. Now, if you are planning on relocating here and want something more affordable, there are a lot of neighboring cities outside of Fort Lauderdale that are very nice, and they actually come in below the national average of 100. Also, something to keep in mind is that Southeast Florida is sandwiched in between the Atlantic Ocean to the east and the Florida Everglades to the west. So even if you're living all the way as west as you can go in the county, you're still less than 25 miles away from the coast. So that being said, there are a lot of good jobs outside of that main downtown Fort Lauderdale area. So we'll find you a spot, don't you worry, whether it's right on the beach or just a little bit west. When it comes to food, Fort Lauderdale sits at 107.6, so just a little bit above that national average of 100. But one of the reasons why I love Fort Lauderdale and South Florida in general is because we're such a big melting pot of so many different cultures. We have the best Latin food, we have the best Caribbean food, we have the best Italian food, anything you could ever want, and we have the full range of pricing down here. Yeah, you can easily go and spend $100 a person to have a nice, amazing meal, but you could just as easily find a little mom and pop place and have a great meal for $10. Next, we have utilities. And surprisingly enough, Fort Lauderdale comes in at 96.4, so below the national average. The only explanation I have for that is that we don't really need heat down here. It does get down into the 40s a couple of nights a year, but even in my house personally, when it's 40s outside, I don't have the air conditioner on, obviously, and it only gets down into about the 60s inside the house. So for internet, you're probably going to be looking somewhere around the $40 to $65 range, depending on what company you use and the speed that you get. Our public transportation isn't really known for being the best, but you can get a monthly bus pass for about $70, and our gas prices are pretty low, sitting at around $2.34 a gallon. Well, that's it for this video. I hope I gave you some insight as to cost of living down here in South Florida. So if you're even thinking about moving or relocating to the Fort Lauderdale, Florida area, you've got to shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email, message me on Facebook, however you want to get a hold of me. I've got your back when moving to South Florida. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.